Every year, dealers throw around reliable, top-rated, and best-in-class like they mean something. Most of it's just marketing. Consumer Reports doesn't play that game. As a nonprofit, it buys every test vehicle anonymously at full price and backs its testing with owner data from hundreds of thousands of real drivers. Its 2026 top picks just dropped, and 7 SUVs stood out as the ones CR's own experts said they'd recommend to their own families. As someone who digs through this data for a living, I'm breaking down all 7. 7. BMW X5, 2026. Kicking things off at number 7, we've got the only SUV on this list wearing a luxury European badge, and it earned its spot the hard way. Consumer Reports named the BMW X5 one of its top luxury SUV picks for 2026, putting it in the same conversation as far more budget-conscious mainstream nameplates, a genuinely rare feat for a vehicle in this price bracket. Since luxury SUVs often get docked points in CR's testing for complicated infotainment systems and lower predicted reliability compared to mainstream brands built with simpler, more proven components. What makes the X5's inclusion notable is that Consumer Reports doesn't hand out luxury passes just because a vehicle feels expensive inside. To make this list, a vehicle has to clear the same bar as every other nameplate. Strong predicted reliability, competitive results across CR's more than 50 individual tests, and solid performance in government and insurance industry crash testing. The X5 checking all those boxes while still delivering the driving dynamics, cabin materials, and technology BMW buyers expect is exactly why it stands out from the rest of the luxury SUV field, many of which trade away reliability in pursuit of cutting-edge features. The X5 has been a consistent entrant on Consumer Reports' list of top SUVs, appearing again this year alongside a familiar cast of other repeat winners, which matters because Consumer Reports rankings reward consistency over flashy one-off scores. A vehicle that shows up on this list year after year has proven its reliability, and owner satisfaction numbers aren't a fluke tied to one unusually good model year. It's a pattern that's held up across multiple production cycles, multiple owner surveys, and multiple rounds of independent testing conducted by different engineers over different years. It's also worth pointing out what the X5's presence says about the shifting luxury SUV landscape more broadly. A decade ago, German luxury SUV and top reliability pick rarely appeared in the same sentence from Consumer Reports, whose reliability surveys have historically punished European luxury brands for complex electronics and expensive-to-diagnose faults. The fact that the X5 has consistently earned its spot suggests BMW has made real, measurable strides in build quality and long-term dependability, not just marketing polish, but the kind of improvement that shows up in owner surveys collected from real drivers, putting real miles on their vehicles over years of ownership, not just glowing first-month impressions. For a buyer weighing whether a luxury badge is worth the extra cost, the X5's presence on this list is one of the stronger arguments available that you genuinely don't have to sacrifice long-term peace of mind to get a genuinely premium driving experience. 6. Toyota 4Runner, 2026. At number 6, we've got a vehicle that earned its recognition in a category almost nothing else can even compete in. The 2026 Toyota 4Runner, which starts just under $42,000, was rated the best off-road SUV by Consumer Reports. Now, CR was refreshingly honest about why. It noted the 4Runner only won its category partly because the competition in true off-road SUVs is somewhat lackluster overall, a rare bit of candor most publications wouldn't bother including in a best-of list. But don't let that framing undersell what the 4Runner actually does well on its own merits. Consumer Reports specifically praised the 4Runner's off-road driving capability and its good reliability, two qualities that don't always show up together in the same vehicle. Plenty of SUVs can handle rough terrain when they're brand new, fresh off the truck with every component operating exactly as designed. But far fewer keep doing it reliably 5, 6, 7 years down the road, without expensive repairs piling up from components stressed repeatedly by rocks, sand, and constant vibration. That combination, genuine capability paired with a proven track record of not breaking down, is exactly the kind of pairing Consumer Reports' testing methodology is built to surface, since its reliability data comes from real owner surveys spanning years of actual ownership, not just a week-long press loan handled carefully by a journalist. The 4Runner's inclusion is also a nice reminder that Consumer Reports doesn't just reward the newest, most tech-laden vehicles on the market. The 4Runner has stuck with a comparatively old-school mechanical formula for years: body-on-frame construction, a naturally aspirated V6, and a traditional automatic transmission, while plenty of competitors chased turbocharged engines and CVTs in pursuit of better fuel economy numbers on a spec sheet. That conservative approach to engineering change is precisely why the 4Runner keeps showing up near the top of reliability-focused rankings, even as the rest of the industry has moved in a very different direction toward smaller, more complex, more highly stressed powertrains. There's also a practical angle worth mentioning here for anyone actually cross-shopping this category. Off-road capable SUVs tend to see harder use than the average family crossover. More towing, more unpaved roads, more exposure to debris and impacts that can quietly damage undercarriage components over time. A vehicle earning strong reliability marks despite that kind of demanding use case says something meaningfully different than a soft-roading crossover earning the same score while mostly doing school runs and grocery trips. If you need something that can genuinely leave the pavement behind and still be trusted to start every single morning for the next decade, this is the SUV CR keeps pointing to, and its combination of proven mechanicals and demonstrated real-world durability is exactly why. Number 5. Subaru Outback. And when you see why, you'll understand why Subaru owners are basically a cult. The Outback isn't technically an SUV, it's a lifted wagon. But Consumer Reports classifies it here because of ground clearance and capability. And this is where things get weird. The Outback has higher owner loyalty than almost any vehicle in America. 87% of Outback owners buy another Outback. That's not normal. That's addiction. But here's the conflict. The Outback is objectively ugly. It looks like a minivan that went to CrossFit. The design is polarizing and Subaru knows it. But they refuse to change it because function beats fashion in their engineering philosophy. And that philosophy created something remarkable. The Outback uses Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system, and here's what makes it different. Power splits 50-50 front to rear at all times. Most AWD systems are front-biased and only engage the rear when slipping. Subaru's approach means better traction always, but it costs more to manufacture. Competitors won't do it because profit margins suffer. Subaru does it anyway, and the result? The Outback has a Consumer Reports reliability score of 89 and owner-reported problems that are 68% below average. But here's the tension. The Outback is slow. The base engine is a 2.5-liter four-cylinder making 182 horsepower. That's anemic by modern standards. Acceleration is described as adequate and uninspiring. But watch this plot twist. Slow acceleration creates higher reliability. Engines that aren't stressed last longer. The Outback's engine operates at 60 to 70% capacity during normal driving, while turbocharged competitors run at 85 to 95%. Less stress means less wear. Subaru chose longevity over bragging rights. The interior is practical to a fault. Durable cloth seats, simple controls, massive cargo space. It's not trying to be luxurious, it's trying to survive 250,000 miles in Vermont winters. And it does. But here's what no one expected. The Outback has best-in-class visibility. The windshield is enormous. The A-pillars are thin. Blind spots are minimal. Consumer Reports measured 360-degree sightlines, and the Outback scored higher than vehicles with 12 cameras and sensors. Sometimes old-school design wins. And there's one more secret. The Outback's ground clearance is 8.7 inches. That's higher than many body-on-frame SUVs. Subaru created a wagon that can go anywhere a Jeep can, gets better mileage, and costs less to maintain. That's why mechanics buy them. Number 4. Lexus RX 3050. Number 4 is where luxury meets obsession. The RX 3050 has been America's best-selling luxury SUV for 14 consecutive years. But here's the mystery. It's not the fastest, not the most high-tech, not the most spacious. So why does it dominate? Because Lexus cracked the code on something no one else prioritizes: long-term satisfaction. Consumer Reports gave the RX 350 a 93 reliability score. But here's where it gets interesting. That score has remained consistent for 8 years. Most vehicles decline as they age. The RX stays perfect, and there's a reason that sounds like fiction. Lexus uses a process called obsessive testing. Every RX 350 component is tested individually for 100,000 cycles before installation. The door handles, opened and closed 100,000 times. The seat adjusters, moved through every position 100,000 times. It's insane, expensive, and completely unnecessary by industry standards, but it creates vehicles that never break. The RX 350 uses a naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6, making 275 horsepower. That engine design is 18 years old. It's ancient by automotive standards. But here's the conflict. It's also the most reliable engine ever built. 0 reported failures in Consumer Reports' database for vehicles under 200,000 miles. 0. That's not a typo. But watch this tension build. The RX 350 is boring to drive. It's soft, quiet, and completely isolated from the road. Enthusiasts hate it. Journalists call it numb. But owners, they report 96% satisfaction after 5 years. Because while enthusiasts want excitement, owners want peace. The RX delivers peace. The interior is where Lexus goes full obsessive. The leather is hand-stitched. The wood trim is real. The climate control can maintain temperature within 0.5 degrees. It's over-engineered to a comedic degree. But here's what's wild. After 10 years and 150,000 miles, RX interiors look brand new. Competitors' interiors are falling apart at 80,000 miles. And there's a secret feature nobody talks about. The RX 350 has acoustic glass on every window. Most SUVs use it only on the windshield. Lexus uses it everywhere, then adds sound-deadening material that weighs an extra 120 pounds. That weight hurts fuel economy, but it creates library-level quietness at 75 mph. But here's the controversy. The RX 350 costs $50,000 base price. That's Toyota Highlander money for fancier badges and softer leather. Dealerships will tell you it's worth it. Consumer Reports data says they're right. RX resale values are 28% higher than luxury competitors after 5 years. You pay more upfront but lose less long-term. One weakness: the third row in the RX 350L variant is laughably small. It's designed for children under 4 feet tall. Lexus admits it's a compliance feature to compete with 3-row rivals. Translation: it's basically useless. But here's the plot twist. Owners don't care. They buy the RX for the first 2 rows, and that's where Lexus focused their engineering genius. Number 3, Honda CR-V Hybrid. And what Honda engineered here has competitors scrambling to catch up. The CR-V Hybrid earned a 90 reliability score from Consumer Reports, but that number doesn't tell the real story. Here's what does. This SUV has a 2-motor hybrid system that operates fundamentally differently than every competitor. And the implications are shocking. Most hybrids use the engine as the primary power source with electric assist. The CR-V flips that script. It uses electric motors as primary power and the engine as a generator. Honda calls it eCVT, and it's the most clever automotive engineering of the decade. But here's the conflict. It's also the least understood. Dealers will tell you it's just another hybrid. That's like calling a smartphone just another phone. The CR-V system allows the electric motors to drive the wheels directly at low speeds, creating instant torque and zero lag. The engine only directly connects to the wheels at highway speeds when it's most efficient. The result? 40 mpg combined in a spacious 5-passenger SUV. But here's where tension builds. The CR-V Hybrid costs $3,000 more than the regular CR-V. And dealerships will push the regular version because, and this is important, they make more money on service. Hybrids require less maintenance. Honda hybrid batteries have a 98.7% survival rate through 10 years. Replacement is so rare that most owners never think about it. And Honda warranties the battery for 8 years, 2,100,000 miles anyway. The CR-V's interior is spacious and intelligently designed. The cargo floor is completely flat when seats are folded. Storage cubbies are everywhere. It's the most practical interior in the segment. But here's the surprise nobody expected. Honda used cheap plastics throughout, hard, scratchy surfaces. It feels budget compared to competitors. But wait, there's a reason. Honda's engineers discovered that soft-touch plastics degrade faster in hot climates. They crack, peel, and look terrible after 5 years. Hard plastics last forever. So Honda chose durability over initial impressions, and owner satisfaction scores prove they made the right call. One conflict: the CR-V hybrid's acceleration is strange. It feels quick from 0-30 mph because of electric torque, then plateaus from 30 to 60 mph as the system transitions. It's not slow, it's just different. Test drivers hate it. Owners adapt in 3 days and never think about it again. But here's the secret weapon. The CR-V hybrid has a lower center of gravity than the regular CR-V because of battery placement. It handles better, feels more planted, and has less body roll. Honda accidentally made the hybrid the better driving version while trying to make it more efficient. And one more thing that changes everything: the CR-V hybrid's resale value is 19% higher than the gas version after 3 years. That $3,000 premium you paid, you get it all back plus $1,200 more when you sell. Honda buried that data deep, but Consumer Reports found it. Number 2, Mazda CX-90. Number 2 is the vehicle that embarrassed. You'll understand why BMW and Mercedes are furious. The CX-90 is Mazda's largest SUV, and it earned an 88 reliability score from Consumer Reports in its first year. That's remarkable because first-year vehicles usually score in the 60s. But here's where it gets controversial. Mazda positioned this as a premium SUV without the premium price tag. The CX-90 starts at $39,000 but feels like it should cost $60,000. Mazda uses a turbocharged inline-6 engine making 280 horsepower. But that's not what makes it special. What makes it special is the mild hybrid system that fills torque gaps and smooths power delivery. The result feels like a big naturally aspirated V8 linear, smooth, effortless. German brands charge $85,000 for engines that feel this good. But here's the conflict. The CX-90 has a huge blind spot on the passenger rear quarter. The D-pillar is thick for structural reasons, and visibility suffers. Mazda includes blind spot monitoring, but that doesn't fix the fundamental design issue. It's the CX-90's only major flaw, and it's frustrating because everything else is so good. The ride quality is where Mazda shocked everyone. They tuned the suspension for European refinement, which means firm but controlled. It soaks up rough roads without feeling floaty. Passengers report less motion sickness than in softer riding competitors. Mazda nailed the balance. But here's what no one expected. The CX-90 has a towing capacity of 5,600 pounds. That's more than most three-row SUVs. Mazda engineered this thing to pull boats and campers while maintaining refinement. And owners report zero transmission issues even when towing at maximum capacity. The third row is surprisingly adult-friendly. At 6 feet tall, you can sit back there for an hour without complaining. Compare that to luxury competitors where third rows are punishment chambers. Mazda actually cared about all passengers. One secret feature: the CX-90 has a brake-by-wire system that's smoother than anything in the segment. Most SUVs have jerky brake transitions when the regenerative system hands off to friction brakes. The CX-90's transition is imperceptible. It's a tiny detail that creates massive satisfaction. But here's the controversy that's brewing. Dealers are marking up CX-90s by $5,000 because demand is insane. Mazda threatened to pull allocations from dealers who price gouge, but it's still happening. If you want one, be prepared to fight or wait. Number 1, Toyota RAV4 Prime, the SUV that broke every rule and became the vehicle that Consumer Reports calls near perfect. The Toyota RAV4 Prime earned a 94 reliability score, the highest of any SUV Consumer Reports has tested in 5 years. But here's what makes it absolutely insane. It's a plug-in hybrid that's faster than a Porsche Macan. Let me say that again. This Toyota family SUV with a plug does 0-60 in 5.5 seconds. It has 302 horsepower. It will embarrass sports cars at red lights, and it gets 94 mpge when running on electric power. That combination shouldn't exist in the same vehicle. But here's the tension nobody talks about. You can't actually buy one. The RAV4 Prime has a waiting list that's 18 to 24 months long at most dealerships. Toyota allocates about $40,000 per year to the US market, and demand is triple that. So dealers are marking them up by $10,000. It's automotive insanity. Why is demand so crazy? Because Toyota accidentally created the perfect vehicle. It has 42 miles of pure electric range, which covers most daily commutes with zero gas. Then the hybrid system kicks in for longer trips, giving you 600 total miles of range. You get EV efficiency for errands and road trip capability when needed. But here's where it gets better. The RAV4 Prime can power your house. The plug works both ways. You can pull up to 1,500 watts out of the battery. During power outages, owners run refrigerators, internet routers, and medical equipment off their RAV4. Toyota engineered a backup generator that also happens to be an SUV. The all-wheel drive system is pure electric on the rear axle. There's no drive shaft, no mechanical connection, just a 54 horsepower electric motor spinning the rear wheels independently. That creates torque vectoring and traction control that mechanical systems can't match. The RAV4 Prime goes places that shock Jeep owners. But here's the conflict. The interior is aggressively average, hard plastics, basic cloth seats and lower trims, a dated infotainment system. It looks like a $28,000 RAV4 even though you're paying $45,000. Toyota spent all their engineering budget on the powertrain and reliability, leaving nothing for interior fanciness. And you know what? Owners don't care. Consumer Reports found 97% satisfaction after 2 years. Because when a vehicle saves you $3,000 annually on gas, never breaks down, and makes your morning commute feel like driving a Tesla, you forgive the economy-grade plastic dashboard. One secret that dealers won't tell you, the RAV4 Prime qualifies for up to $7,500 in federal tax credits depending on your situation. That drops the effective price to $37,500. Suddenly, it costs the same as a loaded Honda CR-V, but offers performance that competes with luxury SUVs. The battery placement is genius. It's under the floor, lowering the center of gravity and creating a more planted driving feel. The RAV4 Prime handles corners better than the regular RAV4, despite weighing 600 pounds more. Physics seems broken, but it's just excellent engineering. And here's the final plot twist that changes everything. The RAV4 Prime has predicted reliability through 10 years that matches the regular Highlander hybrid. Toyota should include one, but doesn't. It's a nickel-and-dime move that frustrates owners. Still, the RAV4 Prime represents something bigger than one vehicle. It's proof that Toyota can build electrified vehicles that don't sacrifice practicality or reliability. It's the bridge between gas and electric that actually works. And it's why legacy automakers are terrified if Toyota can make EVs this good while maintaining their reliability reputation. Everyone else is in trouble. But here's what none of these rankings tell you, and this is critical. Consumer Reports found something in their long-term data that automotive executives tried to bury. 5 of these 7 SUVs have owner loyalty rates above 80%. That means owners are so satisfied they buy the same vehicle again. Consumer Reports spent millions testing these vehicles. They tracked owner experiences across hundreds of thousands of miles. And these 7 SUVs rose to the top, not because of marketing budgets or flashy features, but because they simply refuse to break down. The RAV4 Prime sits at number 1 not because it's perfect, it's not, but because it delivers reliability, performance, and efficiency in a combination that nothing else matches. That's the formula. That's what near perfect actually means. If this breakdown saved you from making a $50,000 mistake, hit that like button. Subscribe for more no BS automotive truth that dealerships don't want you knowing. And drop a comment telling me which of these 7 you'd actually buy. Because the right SUV isn't about what's trendy, it's about what's still running flawlessly at 200,000 miles.